EasyLove's in the middle of 4, and he's in trouble. The wrong passive is there. Keine cleans up. Elio on the side. As he is going to get probably burned down. Does scoop him into the wall, trying to buy a little bit of time. The boulder toss making it a little bit closer for Levi. But they don't have the champions to really do it. In goes Oddie. He's going to try to turn around. Evo's in the back line, though. And Evo finds Keine and kills him, wipes him off the map. EasyLove's in the back line, and GAM make it happen.
TK, thank you so much for joining me during Game 1 again, during the series. I hope things are going well for this revenge matchup. It's a deja vu here. You have something to settle, guys.
Right, because at MSI, they sent us home, but we were able to repay that favor back at Worlds 2023 in Seoul. And so this one's gonna like kind of set the record straight right here.
Tell me about the spirit, morale here for players stepping onto the stage. We saw what R7 did yesterday. How do you boys feel?
Well, congratulations to R7 on making history for the LLA, but today, the boys, the energy has been amazing. And the energy, I mean, just being in this Riot Games arena, this new arena is so beautiful, by the way. So the energy for the boys, the morale, it's been really high. And we want to keep that up, keep that momentum going.
Perfect. Last question I have for you. We always hear it's GAM time. It's GAM time.
It's always
what
GAM
is the
time.
philosophical meaning of GAM time? Tell us.
What does GAM time mean? It means it is time right now. So GAM, all the GAM fams around the world, it is our time. It just means get ready, because we're going to put on a show, baby. Let's go.
It's like he's staring into the depths of my soul.
I wasn't expecting the pose at the end. It's so well coordinated.
I came into
that
draft like Shyvana's terrible, but after the way he looked at me, I'm like, whatever you say, sir. Yes, sir. Shyvana again, one more time. After that game, I think it adds up as well. But of course, this was a matchup that weird game because it's like, oh, it's going to be fighting all the time. It was like 12 kills at 25 minutes. It was not a very bloody game whatsoever.
No, and that's why I kind of like found myself almost trying to figure out where that pressure was coming from when the games got to like the mid game, because you could start to see this gold lead opening up for GAM, but a huge amount of it was GAM just putting pressure on the map in the correct places, not necessarily getting the kills as a result, but getting a lot of the towers, getting a lot of that jungle farm away. Like, it actually worked out incredibly well with how slow paced GAM played this.
Yeah, it's kind of this entire sequence, right? So context already, they've got 6 grubs. 6 grubs, kind of nice to push turrets with as well. But really the hero of this is Levi, who's been able to get these objectives, but also just then use the pressure that he brings on this Shyvana to just force the opponent away. You just pop that ultimate immediately, you just push down these turrets, and while they're not going to get it in this instance themselves, it's super low, so it's super easy for them to pick it up next time they want to. And when then finally comes around, well, you know, Fury Bar up again, the play just going to continue down towards the bot side. Mid turret as well is getting chopped in, so they're just pressuring lanes and lanes and lanes, and there's nothing R7 can really do here. They're so far behind in terms of having any map pressure, and this Yone and this Shyvana is just buying them so much space when it comes to these objectives.
And that's what I love about this play here. It's the fact that you get that pressure with Levi towards the bottom side, gating off any sort of play from the Ezreal moving down to that bottom side, but then he immediately transitions that into mid. So you're picking up 2 towers, and because of the strength of this Shyvana, it's so difficult to try and contest any of that space.
And he's just there the entire time. Was he just bot? Is he mid now again? He's so fast. W with AP scaling. He's just running the map, figuratively speaking and literally speaking, Dracus.
Yeah, but luckily not for us in the negative way.
No,
this man is sprinting it, but for the first time in the history of League, we mean that in a really positive way.
He's running around with flame breathing behind him to give himself the streaks of flames as he runs so fast around the map.
Yeah, I mean, just an absolutely monster performance. That goal difference alone, completely disgusting. And remember, while they were winning for so much of this was a guy who was, as Ale pointed it out in cast, he's ahead of Summit on Gnar, who spent the entire game in a side lane farming on this Shyvana. I don't know if I love the pick, but in the context of this game, it did so much work.
I will say, like, I agree, because, like, I saw Shyvana, I see it into Syndra, I see it into the knockup immediately, I see a Braum as well. It really sucks, because once you've used your ultimate, that's that one invulnerability that you get and you gotta poke with your E. But this time around, though, Levi just played around it so perfectly. His spacing was magnificent, really, on this champion.
And I'm really glad that Levi taught us how to play Shyvana by just saying you have to be Levi, because it did feel like that's kind of the difference maker
he
here.
He gets the pass, for sure.
But to be fair, he did also show us that there are some weaknesses there. R7 were quick to punish us, as we saw their incredible reactions here in this HyperX Reflex replay, where again, you saw some of the pitfalls of a champion like Shyvana, no matter how far ahead she is.
I mean, she looks tanky. She's got a lot of HP from Liandry's and from Riftmaker. But the reality is that as soon as you pop that Dragon Form and you get stunned, you're so squishy. And yeah, you get some extra resistance from killing Drakes, but it's only really 5 per Drake. So once you're locked down, you're pretty much dead. And this looked like a moment where R7 might have the opportunity to come back. They can finally get that soul for themselves. Unfortunately for them, right, they are still getting run around by map. They had by GAM. They had so much pressure, top inhib, mid inhib, pushing in bot side. Like it was just impossible for R7 to find leverage in this game.
But that's why, like, coming into the game, I looked at these drafts and was like, this is R7 winning. Like, this feels so difficult to play. Little to no engage on GAM's side. A great amount of counter pressure. Even the counter engage for the one Yone stun that can maybe set you go up, but they just couldn't find that. And a huge amount of that has to be praised towards the way GAM played this. The VCS for so long is just discounted as this region that can only play for kills, is hyper-aggressive, doesn't know how to play a mid-game. GAM are different. GAM are a level above what everyone expects them to be, and we're getting to see this on the Rift with how calculated they are in that mid to late game.
Yeah, and the fact that they took so few fights, the amount of poppy, W's, the steadfast presence that stopped little engages, that stopped these plays or moments from coming through until they could find something on their footing. Yes, what I have preferred in this matchup, much more chaotic bloodshed, but the way the game ultimately played it worked out so incredibly well for them overall. Now we have to see what R7 are going to bring to the table to adapt coming into this game too.
Yeah, I mean, they're picking red side again, and I think they kind of knew what they wanted. I think Keine was super happy with just having that Syndra into the Yone. Summit, I think, was the big one. They first picked Rumble. Rumble, nerf Rumble. You gotta be able to have something that's gonna shut that down as well, because he's been one of the big strengths when he has that laning phase prowess. Did not get to have that opportunity this game.
We'll have to see if it's gonna be a different story in game 2 as we send it over to our casters for picks and bans.
Thank you very much, Dracos. We are going into game number 2 here. It's going to be an exciting one. GAM, one game away from the Swiss stage. They would be so excited to make it back. Did really play a strong game, but R7 not to be discounted because they got that soul. They got to a position where, hey, had their base been a little bit more healthy, they maybe would have been able to turn around.
Yeah, I thought Keine played a solid game on Syndra.
He was really good.
I think the Shyvana is just the X factor that they're going to have to account for here. I think one of the reasons they're sticking with the red side is I think they were generally happy with how the draft went. Their bans were Aurora, Ziggs, Vi. I think they just dropped the Vi ban, throw in a Shyvana ban, and then run it back. It really was just game altering the way he was able to keep his tempo up and siege every turret with the empowered Shyvana E's.
I think the alternative is, if you want to let the Shyvana through, then you need something that can put pressure on it, right?
Well,
like if you can't keep pace with it, then you need to really be able to get something else done. Or you try to play something that's equally greedy and can scale with it. You say, like, okay, you're going to play Shyvana, well, I'm going to play Brand, and I'm going to be a monster in team fights too. So I'll be really interested to see what their approach is to it.
Okay, so GAM's bans stay exactly the same. The Ziggs was banned in game 1 by R7. So is it Ziggs ban or Shyvana ban?
It's got to be Shyvana.
They leave Ziggs up, which is, I really thought it would be the Vi. I think they're afraid of the fight engage from Levi, but Ziggs can provide the same issue just in a different way if they decide to pick it later. But it's first pick Rumble once again, so R7 could actually take the Ziggs if they want to.
Yeah, just right back to the Rumble. And I'm so curious now, what is Summit's answer going to be? Because such a key part of their early game, of their victory against 100 Thieves, was that he was dominant in lane. And it was, the sniper was just blind picking Cassante, and they were putting him on tank duty, and Summit was able to take advantage of that. So maybe he'll have a different pick here to be able to answer Kiaya's Rumble, who really did keep him in check, but it is going to be the Ziggs coming out so far.
Either way, I do actually like this tweak by R7, because if they are forcing, if basically they're expecting GAM to first pick Rumble again, and one, that means that they can get the Ziggs that they had themselves banned in game 1, but Rumble Ziggs wouldn't have been a good combo anyway. So I do like them getting rid of the Shyvana, but then also opening up their own power pick to be able to take early in the draft.
Spicy hotpot coming through. The Jarvan locked in, the Cataclysm plus the Ziggs ult. Very powerful combo here. And if you lock Jhin into that, you are asking to die, but EasyLove is going to go for it. And honestly, EasyLove, he farmed well, but he didn't really have to do much in the last game. He was not a big factor besides getting one shot by Keine and giving us some reaction gifs on Twitter.
EasyLove was such an AD carry experience last game on MF. Just farms all game, one shot by Syndra, and then thrown onto Jhin for the next game.
Like, what if you were further back with your ultimate?
Same situation. This is actually better than MF, for sure. Because at least the Jhin can give the utility.
Is it going to be the Summit Jayce? You know, this and the Gnar are the two champions I always think of when I think of Summit.
It's locked in.
And it is going to get locked in. This is, you know, one of those champions that you can dominate lane on. Didn't really get it done on the Gnar as far as that 1v1 was concerned. Kiaya really held him to a stalemate. And I think that was such a key part of their game.
Yeah, it's. I was actually going to say it jokingly when you're like, what does he do? I was like, well, it's Gnar or Jayce. Those are some of his champions.
Yeah.
And it is still
He's not
true.
a one trick.
To this
he has
day.
a second trick.
Yeah, and he's super good on
he
these
is
champs.
incredible on those champions, and he can play other stuff, of course. But you know, he really is. He's been the same player his whole career. Like, incredibly lane dominant, but tends to die to ganks, tends to get caught in side lanes. You know, those are his weaknesses. You really know what you're going to get with Summit, but you're getting some really powerful strengths. It is going to be Sejuani as the ban. They're worried about that pairing with the double melee soul laners that have already been drafted, and I think that is a smart ban from this spot. And also, interestingly, they are going to be banning out the Poppy, who, you know, I didn't really feel was a big part of the win in the previous game, but I will say he was on point with his steadfast presences. He was, you know, interrupting Oddie a lot, so maybe that was kind of the frustration, was Oddie didn't feel like he could get in and make the fights happen.
He was very tricky to pin down, and I think against the Jarvan, it's just a smart ban when you know that the other team is comfortable playing Poppy. It also opens up things like Rell, so it's just going to allow them to actually engage.
Now, I'm really curious, are they going to go for a bit more setup now for Kiaya? Last time, they didn't have it, but as it turned out, they didn't need it. So, Rell has been taken away. Leona is banned out. You could go towards something like an Alistar or a Nautilus if you do want those types of engage supports. That's kind of the meta for most teams these days, is you just kind of pick one of those. Levi, Wukong is up, and he's going to grab it, and they're going to pick another option here with the Rakan. So some very powerful engage this time around on the GAM side, and much more lockdown and setup for both Emo and Kiaya to really succeed with.
And it's also, I'd say Rakan, a little bit weaker in lane.
Oh, it's going to be Jayce mid.
Way more reach in terms of being able to get to the back line. I guess it will actually be Jayce mid.
Yeah, it's going to be Jayce mid, and they're going to go Cassante fifth pick here for Summit.
It could be Cassante mid. They have until 20 seconds on the timer to trade it back. We're at 40 seconds right now.
I'm assuming it's going to be Summit playing the Cassante, which is kind of un-Summit-like, to be honest. But, I mean, everyone plays a ton of Cassante, let's be honest. This champion has been so strong for really the entire time since it came out. So people definitely do play a lot of it. But Keine, I am expecting to play that Jayce, and I think we're far enough in. Honestly, I can't tell because we don't have the exact number on the screen.
I got it on my screen. We're past 20 seconds just now, so this is going to be it. Summit on the Cassante. I wouldn't have minded to see the Cassante mid, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really sure exactly how that matchup would go. The one thing I will say is it's a lot more difficult in mid lane to actually get good angles for the all-out, you know, actually try to find those all-in opportunities. We'll see if someone can do that up top lane against Kiaya, and I'm really interested now to see how Keine performs here. He really was good at actually bullying Emo in the early levels on the Syndra, and I think he had a very strong Syndra game overall. He was pretty impactful. Can he do the same thing on the Jayce? Because to me, it's always felt like Jayce needs to do even more. That being said, they do have quite a bit of poke between the Jayce and the Ziggs, so maybe they're going to try to play more of that style of comp where they poke out their opponents before the fight.
I think a lot of it is trying to keep up with the turret taking that GAM had in Game 1 and land a couple counter picks in. It's going to be tough, I think, actually, for Rainbow 7. The manner in which they lost that first game, just being behind in tempo pretty much the entire time, still securing Soul, but never really finding a single good team fight. So GAM, I think, is just going to be having so much confidence and momentum after that Game 1, because there were little things that we were seeing, even in the laning phase from GAM, willing to take risks on small things and getting away with it, playing on the margins. Kiaya as well, not losing lane to Summit. Someone who's beaten pretty much everyone in lane. Now going up against his Cassante, which if he gets ahead could still punish the Rumble, but I'm expecting GAM to continue to keep up their aggressive style of play.
Absolutely. I mean, I think more so than the last game, I'm expecting a lot more fighting. Kiaya also going first strike on the Rumble, which is an interesting adaptation here. You're playing against a tank. You're just going to try to farm some gold off of him. If you feel like, hey, I don't really think I can punish him a lot with, you know, the Comet, then just go for first strike. Just try to farm a little bit more gold, complete those items that much faster. As Oddie does spot the ward getting dropped on his Raptor, so it does at least have that information. But Lyonz, of course, unable to come up there and sweep it out because it's too late.
There was a small chance that R7 would have gone for a swap, and I think that would have definitely surprised GAM because they have the type of team comp for it, but definitely just decide to go standard lanes. And I think GAM is going to be completely fine with this. From what we've seen so far, Levi, very comfortable, kind of power farming up until level 6, leaving his laners to fend for themselves, and the whole team is pretty good at that.
Yep, nice little trade there from Lyonz. But of course, Rakan, if you can hit those Qs, those Gleaming Quills, you are going to be healing back up pretty effectively. So if you're trying to bully this lane, have to be dodging those Qs, and that one does connect. So going to be going pretty much right back to full. As Keine just going into melee form and going to the skies to get a nice little trade there onto Emo. Really wants to keep him down early.
And this will be the big question. How well can Keine punish this Yone? We did think Yone was going to be one of the biggest picks at this World Championship. Still might be, but I've definitely seen it get fairly punished early by a couple of different picks. We saw Maples Akali do it a couple times on day 1. Even the Cinder was punishing it fairly well, and we're really going to see how much damage this Jayce can do. Early on, it looks like he's able to weave in a lot of damage without Emo being able to retaliate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's always interesting, right? Because these kind of matchups, you have to know you're going to lose really going into it. But if you can lose gracefully, you can have so much power later on. It's such a powerful pick. You know, allows you to really get in there with the Soul Unbound. You know, that's what really makes the champion, is that you don't have to throw your body all the way in and fully commit to actually get an all-in play. Right? Yasuo has to like ult into the backline to do it, and you could just get burst down. King can always snap back with the E.
And also, I think the Jayce needs to do a lot of work in lane, because if you're a Jayce going up against Rakan, Wukong, Rumble later on in the game, it's a pretty hard life. There's a lot of things that can really just shut you down. I mean, even Wukong, if he gets a little bit ahead, would have a chance to just solo kill the Jayce at the back end of a fight. So he really needs to do a lot of work in this early game, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see if they can get that push. Nice shock blast there, empowered. Levi heading down towards that bottom side here as EasyLove and Elio are in the area, and both junglers are going to be spotting each other.
It's risky for Levi to be here because Jayce has so much prio mid, but there's no smite on Oddie, so he has to just give it up. That's unfortunate.
And as soon as you use the flag and drag and then you see him, there's no chance you can win the skirmish either, so it's just time to run. So I think smart from Oddie to just give that up. Of course, it will give Levi some more tempo. He gets the faster recall and is going to be back out on the map here a lot faster.
Pretty nice play, though, from Keine early on. 11 CS advantage in the first 4 waves.
Yeah, doing a really good job, and we'll see if he can kind of maintain that advantage, keep pushing it forward. People getting really low. That empowered shock blast could have been dangerous if it did connect there from Keine, but Keine also getting quite low here himself, so he's going to have to take a recall. And this is going to give Emo a chance to be able to at least farm this up and then potentially walk back to lane. It'll be interesting to see if Keine wants to actually TP back and keep that pressure on.
Levi might be trying to get a cheeky gank into Summit here. He will be spotted if he goes over that wall. I mean, Kiaya is in such a fine spot. It would literally just be trying to gank for the 300 gold, and Levi decides it's not worth the risk.
Yeah, exactly. Levi had a little bit of time before his Gromp and Wolves did respawn, so he's like, you know what, I'll take a look, see if there's an angle. There wasn't, so he's right back to farming, playing for that efficiency game that he is really well known for. Always has been a bit of a power farmer, loves playing these carry-style junglers, and he's such a strong team fighter that it has really kind of made his career playing that style.
And you can tell the team is really comfortable playing that style as well. Those types of players don't generally mesh well when you have someone who just loves playing counter picks or something. Like, you can see all these lanes are generally safe, and these guys are not playing the lanes in places where the wave is getting frozen against them and they need the jungler to come bail them out. Like, they're all very good laners in their own right. The CS disadvantage at the last recall was only 9 for Emo, and he's almost hit level 6 with the Dorn Shield, the Vamp Scepter, 2 health potions, and Fleet Footwork, so his sustain is going to be quite high.
Yep, and both supports kind of seeing if there's any sort of an angle here as Keine takes a lot of damage, but is going forward. And Shock Blast nicely sidestepped there by Emo. Elio going to have to jump back to his teammate, but will help to keep him safe. So going to be able to farm this up and just use that Vamp Scepter to try to sustain through this. And with Jayce taking another base, I feel like Emo's gotten through a lot of the hardest part of the early game here, and he's in a pretty darn good spot. Yeah, there were a couple of empowered Shock Blasts that fell to the side that really could have made life hard for Emo, but he was able to dodge both of those. So pretty clutch. That allows Levi to hit level 5, and we are moving up towards Grubs for a potential fight. Seo has teleport, so GAM needs to be a little careful starting this because they could be at a numbers disadvantage soon. Yeah, and Keine did just get that recall off, so he's going to be a little bit more powerful potentially, but he is on a cull and a tier, so not exactly the most threatening of items there for the Jayce in the early game.
Levi's got to get out of there.
Levi at least will get one. Kiaya does have first move, but it's just going to be the one. I think they're going to call that heist and probably back off. Both bot laners have moved up to mid, though.
Yeah, exactly. Jhin's followed all the way up. They might look for a pick.
Yeah, they're going to be going in, and the Ziggs is in trouble. The curtain call has come out. Lyonz able to body block. They did get the flash off of Sayo. Now the equalizer comes down. It's not quite in the right spot. Emo trying to go forward and finish him off. Nice sidestep from Sayo, but it's first blood for Kiaya. And is it even more? It looks like it. It's a flash out from Lyonz, but Levi is there trying to chase him down, and EasyLove comes in. 1, 2, 3, fourth shot gets the kill.
Somehow during that fight, Levi ticked level 6, and that allowed them to just continue that chase. But it was all about the original pick onto Sayo Ziggs. GAM just a little bit sharper and a little bit more decisive. I think in an ideal world there, R7 actually hold the Ziggs and the Jhin bot so they can teleport and actually have the numbers advantage. When Jin's able to follow like that, it becomes a 5v5.
Yeah, in some trouble. Does have to flash out. Nice sidestep. That little juke there kept him alive. If he gets scooped back, he's dead because someone can go all out, and then Oddie's there to follow.
The mechanics on these guys are just accumulating into being bigger and bigger advantages. Sidesteps on the shock blast, sidesteps on those ganks, keeping them deathless, and Levi just boldly starting this Drake. Surely he has to run.
Yeah, gonna get spotted out, and he will be pushed off that as Sayo is down here. R7 deciding, you know what? Maybe we can do it. So they do have that faster reset. Their bot lane is there, and Oddie has arrived, so it looks like it will be their dragon.
I mean, R7, maybe they'll get Soul again. It just seems to be their thing, where they get Soul in almost every game. 2 games in a row, the last one against 100 Thieves, and in that last game they had against GAM. But they will get the first Drake of this game, and it's looking similar to the story of Game 1, where GAM is taking a lot of risks in lane to hold on. Levi is off to the races. Early Drakes for R7, but already a 1,000 gold lead for GAM, and just the very end of that Rakan W, followed by the Yone ultimate, start this fight off right for GAM.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was pretty nicely done, the initial engage, and Sayo does a good job, sidesteps the Q3, trying to get out of there, but really, when there's that much committed to you, there's no shot.
And the kill onto Ziggs is what gave Levi enough experience to hit level 6, which I think is what allowed them to get the second kill of the fight onto Rell.
Well, he's feeling it. He is really feeling it, and GAM happy about that. No, it's a key moment in this game, opening up about a 1.5k gold lead from that play. And it's pretty significant. Kiaya, again, seems to be doing more than holding his own.
No flash.
Levi going in, but the fate is not sealed. It is going to miss. And everything is a sidestep. Everything is just a dodge there. Both teams showcasing those mechanics.
Yeah, that's really huge by Keine there to not die to that Wukong gank. 2 ultimates burned. Doesn't even get more than half of his health. And I wouldn't be too surprised if we start seeing some lane swaps happening. Looking at the items here, tons of magic resist being built around by Summit, as I do an arrow instead of a circle. But if they swap the Yone into him, he'll be a lot more effective.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to do that. I want to know how much first strike gold has actually been grabbed by Kiaya.
I can tell you.
I'm really curious to see how much gold he's actually been able to get, because he's been, every time I look up there, he seems to be proccing it pretty much nonstop.
186.
Not bad, honestly. This just from the laning phase, like almost a kill, most of a kill. It's kind of not too bad. But already has that Leandry, so is on that spike here pretty darn early.
Yeah.
And we can see that it's likely going to be Blade the Rune King rush here for Emo, pretty standard.
Yeah, and the lanes have actually changed. Summit is up against the Jhin right now. I don't necessarily think EasyLove can threaten kills on the Jhin, but it definitely makes Kiaya more threatening with his full Leandries up against people who don't have a ton of MR already.
Yep. Yeah, there are some squishy members up there, absolutely. Elio coming up towards the top to try to reinforce the team. Oddie finally going to finish off those grubs. They never actually fully cleared those earlier grubs, so it is just the 3 that will be showing up here this game.
Grubless game. Not even a 4 grubber for anyone.
Nope. And we'll see if Summit can continue wave clear. I think he will. I mean, yeah, Jhin does physical damage. Yeah, he built MR, but like Jhin is on Swifties and a little bit of damage. So Yeah, I mean, Jhin, honestly, with this build that has become so popular with the Shiv into rapid fire, it's like you have so much move speed, it's so fun to play, but if you're not very ahead, you don't do a lot of damage. Is Keine going to be forced to flash there on the attempted engage from Elio? Comes in with the ultimate and is able to push him back and keep that pressure on.
I mean, another nice dodge there by Keine, but nothing is going to be won for it. That was a very low investment gank by GAM in terms of spells. They just had so much tempo to spend. I mean, I'm even looking at their waves right now. Nothing's pushing in against them. They're kind of safely resetting. They already have a pretty large gold lead. I kind of wonder where Rainbow Seven is going to make something happen for themselves, because they seem to be playing permanent defense.
I mean, it's tough, right? You know, Keine was doing so well in the 1v1, but he's been pressured a couple times, and forcing out a flash like that means you can't bully anymore. You have to be so careful. So, you know, that buys the time, that buys the space for Emo to be able to set up. They are going to try to look here as Lyonz. Crash down will connect. Oddie is just in range now. The knockup is there, and Keine going to try to find it. Fate is sealed. Used to just build a little bit of space, and now the soul inbound coming through. Lyonz, nice sidestep, though. The jukes from these players are really good in this game.
I'll also say that a Jarvan without his first completed item and a Rell, they're not killing a level 9 Yone with Doran Shield. So even if they landed that engage, he didn't have to burn flash during his escape. And speaking of what we talked about in game 1, with GAM being really good at playing on their item spikes, when Levi goes back to base and completes the Sundered Sky, he deploys and he looks to make a play. So with this Dragon coming up, GAM's definitely going to be trying to make something happen.
Yep, Keine still down there, working towards his first item. Stacking up the tier, of course, and then there's going to be a tier on the Ziggs as well. Going to be working towards the Archangels. A little bit less of a spike, I think, than having that Ludens, but of course it does help you if you do get jumped on, and there is a lot of hard engage over on the other side when you're looking at Emo and Levi. So I do understand wanting to go a bit of a more defensive item here, as Kiaya, I think, mostly looking for the reset, but he's going to force a flash. Does he flash to follow? He might just have him. Didn't want to risk it. Interesting. Elects to hold onto the flash. I think he maybe could have got him with even just like one more harpoon.
Yeah, but about these Rumble nerfs, it feels like it might have been a player issue with the other Rumbles that we've seen, because Kiaya, he's looked super good. He's completely matching Summit's Gnar. He is going up against the full MR Cassante, playing on his spike pretty well. The Canic Rook Urn hadn't been completed yet, so he may as well go for the kill. Gets one plate, has to reset, but that buys time for the team to be able to take the Drake. I'm really impressed with the 4 games I've seen from Kiaya so far. 2 games on Aurora on day 1, and then also the Rumble so far today.
Especially when you, like you say, you're going up against Summit. You know, you're going up against the guy who is considered by far the strongest laner in his league. You know, such a good top laner in that 1v1, and hasn't been able to really get anything done in the 1v1. Got the Gnar in the last game, couldn't really create any sort of advantage. Now he's on that Cassante, and Kiaya is just using him as a target. I mean, farm first strike gold.
Yeah, he absolutely is. A little bit less farm overall for GAM solo laners this game, though. I'd say the Jayce has been pretty effective at its early job of shutting down the Yone a bit, but I just feel like it's going to be tricky to actually make use of this thing in the late game if they're not able to consistently get push, set up at objectives, and then kind of use the Ziggs Jayce to stop them from entering.
Yeah. And I actually like this more from Seo. He did actually just elect to finish the Ludens and sit on the tier. So
nice.
I like that more. You know, it is definitely a nice one-item power spike along with that Jayce, who now has the opportunity done, as you called out.
Big Jayce
He is definitely strong. Has that completed item. Did cash out the call.
Kiaya just hit level 11, and he has his ultimate up. So this could be a Rift Herald fight.
Yeah, we'll see. R7 are there first, but Emo is coming. EasyLove as well as Levi are going to try to get pushed mid. That is a big shock blast, though, onto EasyLove, and he is pushed back very quickly by that. So Kiaya going to head back up the top and try to get the shove there.
Gotta respect the Rumble, though. R7 had to pull off as soon as they saw Rumble moving towards them. Kind of a standstill. Again, so much patience from GAM in this entire series.
I mean, it's not really what you would associate with them traditionally, but at the same time, clearly they know we can play around our power spikes, we can play to scale, they don't have to force anything if it's not there, and they're just playing out a really smart game. I mean, they had Emo down in bot side, who was matched up against this Keine, Rooker, and Cassante, which is a horrible 1v1 against this Blade of the Rune King that's now completed for him. So R7 moving over. This is getting low, though. We'll see if Levi can secure it. Eye gets popped, and they are going to be able to finish it off there. Now can they find any sort of a play? Elio's going to be looking. Lyonz flashes out, does crash down over the wall, but he's going to get interrupted. And now comes the curtain call there from the Jhin, as well as the equalizer, but not really able to find too much. Seo does walk back in, gets hit by the 4th shot. is going to be okay. Summit is having to recall, and Oddie looking for the re-engage, but no one is there with him, and Oddie really went too far. Now Kiaya goes forward, and Emo finds him with the fate is sealed. Keine tries to get out, but he can't do it. It's a double kill for Emo, and it's GAM taking over off of a re-engage from Oddie.
Emo showing up with those 2 kills on the back, but I gotta say, Oddie is gonna want that one back. They were able to dodge the first engage, get the TP out of the Yone, and it could have been over, but they were just not ready for that re-engage, and it's that re-engage that ends up giving the 2 kills over to GAM. Watching it one more time, Elio just gets completely stuffed up on the top with Rakan there. Can't actually get onto the Rell, and you think Rainbow 7 is actually just ult. Burn Jhin, burn Rumble ult. It's over. But let's see, what did Oddie think was going to happen with the re-engage onto Levi? There's no shock blast up for Keine. Seo's around the side. That's one of those instances where you feel like your team is behind you, but they're not actually there, and you end up running it down.
He just unfortunately wasn't aware, like you say, of exactly where they were. You know, thought he had an angle, but clearly did not. Ziggs not in position to follow up. You know, Jayce not in position to follow up. Ends up going in, dies, gives over a couple kills, and now it's an over 3,000 gold lead here for GAM, and they have been playing really well with the advantages when they can get them. Kiaya, again, procking that first strike here, just trying to farm it up, working towards that second item as the Rift Maker. And EasyLove moving towards his second item as well, has that shift for quite some time, and is going to have that rapid fire pretty soon now.
Yeah, he's having a very strong game. I think he's happy to be on Jhin and not Misfortune this time. He can play a little further back. And there's also no Syndra to press a button on him and end his life. This is going to be a really hard game for R7 from this point forward, because if we think about the way their team comp needs to operate, they really need to wombo combo team fights with Ziggs, Jarvan, maybe even a little bit of Jayce Rell. But GAM has just been so good about spreading out, playing from a lot of different angles. So even if R7 tries to combo one person, like first they might not even kill that one person, but then second, the sustained damage on the other side from GAM is going to be just so much higher than what R7 has. Add that to the fact that they're behind in items and gold, and it gets even harder. Yeah, absolutely. And then, you know, you'd say, okay, well, if we can't do that, what can we do? Maybe we could split push. But Emo's going to be really good at answering you in the side lanes. If he has 2 kills, even though there is this additional farm, the plates and everything that Keine was able to pressure, he is not really that far ahead of where this Yone is. And one misstep, and you can easily lose that 1v1. Absolutely. So, Dragon coming up. It's a Mountain Soul this game. GAM is a little bit grouped up here, so maybe
nice
a window.
Shockwave Emo looking, though, and he finds the Ziggs. Seo is gone already. His fate is sealed. GAM going to drop the Herald mid. That's going to be the tier 1 tower. That's going to be the Ziggs. It should be the Dragon off the back of it, and the curtain call is going to get opened up here. Looking for the damage on the back line, pushing them back. In goes Elio. Nice buffer, though, from Summit, and now going to drop the Equalizer. That one's a bit of a whiff. Can they find anything more? He's going to think better of it.
No thanks. Go bot. Go all the way bot. Hit that turret bot.
It's Levi drift. He's going to be driving down towards the Dragon.
He could have hit the bot turret. Either way, there's still 4 people chasing after him, but GAM is going to be pretty fearless now. It's only physical damage dealers that are alive at the moment. They do respect the teleport of Ziggs, though, as they go bottom lane and actually don't take the Drake yet.
Yeah, they can't even really take the Drake. I mean, EasyLove has been split up from the rest of the team. He's getting pushed off, so now they're going to lose their mid lane tower. GAM kind of over-chased and are getting punished for it. Levi, though, going to look. He's going to go in. There's a Cyclone. Seo's in trouble again, but the minion wave was still there to tank up the tower for now. The W does miss, and now it's a TP coming in from the other side. It's going to be Kiaya rejoining the team. He has no ulti, but doesn't even need it. Kaine's in trouble. He's getting roasted. Lyonz is already dead to Levi, but they're trying to take one back. Seo pushing him out. Summit arrives. The teleport's getting committed from both sides, but it is GAM, again, that get the kill and get out. Man, you can really just see how strong Levi's Wukong is in this game state, because if he's the one that opens onto Ziggs and Seo has to run instead of return fire, he's just armor stacking on Wukong through his passive, and the Jarvan, Jayce, Cassante are unable to touch him. So he, I think, even missed his W out of the Jarvan Cataclysm and then was still just able to flash out at the tail end of that fight. So he's very free with what he can do in this game, and GAM continue to put the pressure on R7. Yeah, we can see it one more time. They were pressuring EasyLove, and Levi goes in and finds the game. And it's pretty much 1v3. Seo can't return fire onto Levi, so everyone else on GAM can just continue going forward, easily pick up the kill onto Rell. But really,
this at the end is kind of what's damning for me, where he flashes out of the full combo from Oddie. Seo's burning all of his cooldowns, and it's going to be tough for R7 to come back here.
I mean, you can see R7 know it. Their coaching staff looking incredibly stressed, a little bit dejected there. Obviously, coming off of a big series, they were feeling confident. They were in a really good spot. You know, at times, it felt like in game number 1, had a good draft. This second game, though, has got away from them pretty quick. And as you say, going to be tough to pull back, but we'll see if they can do it. The Dragon's still on the table here, and it's going to be GAM looking to move down and claim it as Emo splits top.
And I think they will be able to get this one. But GAM is not a team to rush Drakes. They are so focused on just accumulating pressure and gold. So, yes, they have the ability to take Drake, but they're going to rather grab this standing gold first. Can't complain as they continue to extend their gold lead.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Emo's fine topside. You know, he seems to be completely safe. He has enough vision. It's a bit shallow, but he does have it through that river and has the push up on that topside. They have a ward deep in mid that knows where the Ziggs is. They have the mini wave there, so they saw the Jarvan. And they know they have the time. We'll take the tier 1, grab the Dragon, no pressure. And
also just a reminder, as the stakes for this game, the winner advances to Swiss stage. And almost the added importance for Rainbow 7, because their region, the LLA, has never advanced out of a play-in stage. Losing this game doesn't mean that's an impossibility, though. And also because of how important their win was over 100 Thieves, there's like a bracket switch as they move down. So they actually end up playing, if they lose this, they will play the winner of Vikings and Pain Gaming. So by no means would their dreams of going to group stage be over. They're going to be very competitive, I feel like, in the next series if they end up losing this one, which it does look like GAM is in complete control.
Yeah, absolutely. Are sitting in a really, really good spot. You can see 2 items coming through for so many members. Stridebreaker done for Emo, which does make it difficult to kite him out. That Rapid Fire is done. Last Whisper completed for EasyLove. And we do have that Riftmaker has been done for a long time on Kiaya, but now has a Seekers on top of it. That's going to make him even more difficult to knock down.
And give you a first strike update. First strike catch. 489 gold.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It does deal a fair bit of damage too, and it scales pretty well into the game because it is that percentage increase of damage. So honestly, not bad. A kill and a half from your rune there, as he has created a very big lead for himself. 1.8k ahead of where Summit is now.
Just trying to think of what Rainbow 7 can do. I mean, currently now would have been their window to try and do something when you have both the Yone and the Rumble showing on waves. You know there's only going to be 3 people. But Levi's just freely going wherever he wants because it's only physical damage dealers that are in range to retaliate. They do about 600 damage to him, and in doing so then lose mid-push. So again, R7 is going to have to wait and look for their next play. Got people standing on a ward, though.
Yeah, they do spot them. They're going to go in, but are they going to regret it? We'll see. The TP's coming in from Summit as well, and we do have Levi trying to get out. The Ziggs all going to hit him. Keine trying to retreat. The curtain is going to get called on the other side. Oddie trying to block, but they're trying to snipe through. He can't quite find it. Seo pushes him back and interrupts him with the satchel charge on the side, but it doesn't matter because Kiaya's got a double. Emo's in the 1v1. He flashes out of the Q3, has the solo map. Can he finish off Summit? Not quite. Summit flashes back. Another Q3 is going to miss, and Emo's trying to charge it back up. Has it back and available. Neither solo laner able to finish off the other one. But that was big because Emo was able to interrupt the TP there from Summit. He couldn't join the play.
True.
And that really did change the math on things for R7, who thought they would have the man advantage.
They're going to get the Baron after that one as well. And if there was ever a moment that R7 thought they could get back in the game, it's when they see Wukong and Rumble sitting on a ward and they bait them to engage, but it still ends in the favor of GAM. 8,000 gold, Baron buff, Drake advantage, and a couple of pushes away from the Swiss stage.
Yeah, they are looking so good at this point in the game. We can watch this fight one more time. You could see the angle that they're looking for here.
Yeah, I mean, Levi, Kiaya go straight in. They get a bunch of damage onto Keine, but then Ziggs retaliating, and maybe if the Cassante could come in with some type of flank, they could get onto Jhin or Levi in the back. It's still going to be pretty rough, though. That's a huge goal lead for GAM, and their original initiation was pretty good. So Emo there just pretty easily interrupts Summit, and then we saw
we're
the
back
rest
to
of that
live,
fight.
and we're back to Summit in trouble here. He's going to try to get out of there. The Ziggs all comes down to cover, and we'll have to see how much GAM can get with the Red Bolt Baron power play here. They do have some good wave clear with the Ziggs, but they're going to get split, and they're going to get pulled apart here as Emo's down towards that bot lane. Summit looking for an angle on Levi, can't find it.
Emo freely taking that bot turret. I believe he's deathless this series on the Yone, so he's been playing extremely safe and efficiently. And look at that
Sayo
rumble
in trouble.
burn.
The curtain is going to get called. Sayo has to flash out of there, and on the other side it's Emo. They're trying to CC him up, and they're trying to knock him down, and they got the kill. What can Summit get done here, though? He's CC'd up as well. Levi's into the back line. Summit's on the run. The DB's coming back from Keine, but is it even going to be in time? He TP's into his death, only to watch his base crumble. GAM get a big fight. The EasyLove flashes forward, couldn't quite get in range for the forced shot there on the Lyonz. Thought he had the kill. It's up to the bot lane here from R7, but the deadly flourish is deadly indeed. It connects onto the Ziggs. They get the kill, and with that, they will secure the win. They will secure their spot in the Swiss stage. GAM do it. They're going to take the series 2-0 over R7. What a performance.
GAM have dominated in this play-in stage. Undefeated, back-to-back 2-0s, and they cruise their way to the Swiss stage.
It's GAM time indeed. The VCS is back in the Swiss stage here. A great performance from them. They were so decisive in the second game. They were not playing, this super up-tempo, super aggressive style, but when they found their windows, when they found their moments, they fully committed to it. They played 5 men as one unit, and they were really on the same page when they needed to be. It's some impressive stuff from them.
I mean, some quick maths. This was a 27-minute game. The kills were 12-1. That's less than half a kill a minute.
Yeah.
That's so much slower than the pace we would be used to seeing from GAM, but it was absolutely the right way to play the game. They out-pushed, out-macroed Rainbow 7 today and really showed a whole nother dimension to their own gameplay.
I mean, it was a great team performance. Everyone really was kind of showing up when they needed to, but I have to give a lot of credit to Kiaya, completely holding it down against Summit.
Well.
He made Summit a complete non-factor, it felt like, in this series, which was so impressive.
Yeah.
In game number 1, Levi showed up in a big way on the Shyvana, really made that pick look incredibly strong. So it was a fun series to watch, and I feel like GAM could definitely do some damage, could definitely turn some heads in the Swiss stage if people aren't careful.
Yeah, and I'm just going to address the elephant in the room. 100 Thieves feels really bad about losing to Rainbow 7 after how Rainbow 7 showed up today. I'm really looking forward to the rest of this play-in stage. We have our 2 teams that have qualified through. Today is like the day of joy. Nobody gets eliminated. But we now have everybody else left. 6 teams left. Only 2 can move on.
Yep.
So it's going to be a hectic final 2 days of this play-in stage.
I mean, the pressure really does mount when you have no lives left to give.
Yeah.
Your year's over if you lose here, and everyone here is dreaming of going so much further, doing so much more damage at the tournament. They work all year to get here. You want to be able to showcase what you believe you can do.
Yeah, and I think going into the play-in stage, knowing that the format had been changed a little bit for this year, with fewer teams being preceded into Swiss and 4 teams having the ability to make it out compared to last year where there were only 2.
Yeah.
I think GAM was expecting at a certain level to make it through. I don't think they were expecting to 4-0 their way through. They're definitely looking extremely strong from their early expectations going into Swiss.
Yep, absolutely. And now we have Laura standing by with Kiaya in the Verizon post-game interview.
Thank you so much, Berlin. Kiaya, thank you so much for joining me. Congrats on reaching the next stage here at Worlds 2024. You know Rainbow 7, you know R7, you've been facing off against them a couple of times. Was it a revenge for you guys today?
Em đã có nhiều lần đối đầu với lại Rainbow 7 rồi á. Thì cái lần trả thù này có mang ý nghĩa gì với tụi em?
Ở lần này thì đấu với Rainbow 7 thì nó rất là có nhiều kỷ niệm ở trong suốt thời gian qua. Thì đội tuyển em cũng như là Rainbow 7 cũng đấu khoảng 3 lần, đây là lần thứ 3 rồi. Thì em thấy rất là hào hứng khi gặp lại Rainbow 7 và em muốn cho họ nếm mùi đau thương một lần nữa.
We've met Rainbow 7 several times. This is my third encounter with them. And this time around, I wanted them to taste defeat.
They tasted defeat indeed with you guys. I love the energy and I love the confidence. And honestly, we could feel the confidence from you today, Kiaya, through the amazing gameplay in League of Legends that you played against R7 today. Tell me about this confidence and the impact of your communication helping your teammates.
Thì hôm nay em đã có một màn thi đấu khá là tràn đầy tự tin ha. Thì cái sự tự tin này nó ảnh hưởng tới cái phong độ của em trong trận đấu này như thế nào? Và em đã giao tiếp với đồng đội mình như thế nào trong trận đấu vừa rồi?
Ở trận hôm nay thì cái tâm thế của em thì em cũng thấy rất là thoải mái và tự tin. Tuy gần thì game đầu thì em cũng có hơi run, cũng có hơi hồi hộp tí, nhưng mà em cũng may mắn là được đồng đội giúp đỡ và được đồng đội kéo lên. Sau qua game 2 thì em đã lấy được cái vị thế của mình và em tiến lên phía trước thôi. Thì em cũng muốn rất là cảm ơn đồng đội hôm nay vì đã gánh em và cho em một cái cảm giác nó thực sự rất là vui như thế này.
The team is in high spirits today. And during the first game, I had a little bit of cold feet. I was not performing at my best. But thanks to my teammates, I was able to get back on my feet and play very well for the second game.
I think you played phenomenal. The whole team played phenomenal, and you're going to advance to Swiss stage. Now, one thing is sure about GAM is that it's always going to be crazy. It's always going to be aggressive. What is the expectation in Swiss stage? What should we expect from GAM?
Chị đó nghĩ là cái lối chơi của GAM thì lúc nào cũng rất là máu chiến, lúc nào cũng rất là hổ báo. Nhưng mà từ cái góc nhìn của em á, thì em nghĩ là các fan hay là người coi có thể mong chờ điều gì ở GAM trong cái vòng Swiss?
Thì thường thì mọi người sẽ thấy là khi đội tuyển GAM bắt đầu thi đấu thì họ sẽ coi như là đội tuyển GAM một là cái đội máu chiến, một cái đội gọi là ham chiến, rất là kiểu tham gia rất là nhiều combat á. Nhưng mà em nghĩ là ở 2 trận hôm nay thì bọn em đã làm rất tốt về mảng macro, về cái gọi chiến thuật macro á. Thì hôm nay em thấy team em đã làm tốt điều đó, và người mà có thể đưa ra macro tốt nhất 2 trận hôm nay thì em nghĩ đó là anh Khánh, và anh Khánh đã dẫn dắt bọn em qua điều đó.
People would usually expect GAM to be a very aggressive team with a very aggressive playstyle. But as for the games today, I think we've done pretty well on the macro. And it was all thanks to Levi, who was doing all the shot calls.
Focusing on the macro then for the Swiss stage. Last question. So many fans came here to watch you today, to cheer for you today. I even see some GAM flags here. I know that you don't get a lot of chances to play on stage. What does it mean to you today to play in front of your fans and to win in front of your fans?
Thì ở đây hôm nay đã có rất là nhiều fan đã đến đây để cổ vũ cho em ha. Thì ở giải quốc nội thì chị đó biết là mình cũng không có nhiều cơ hội để đánh ở một sân khấu có khán giả lắm á. Thì hôm nay được chơi ở đây với một cái sân khấu có nhiều khán giả như vậy á, thì nó mang ý nghĩa gì với em?
Ở sân chung kết này thì khi mà ra thi đấu thì có rất là nhiều khán giả ở quốc tế, cũng như là có mấy bạn Việt Nam ở đây đã bỏ không ít thời gian ra để tới đây gọi là xem bọn em và cổ vũ bọn em, cũng như là ủng hộ bọn em. Thì em cảm thấy rất biết ơn tất cả các bạn ở đây đã cổ vũ cho bọn em. Thì em xin cảm ơn tất cả mọi người.
We have a lot of international fans, and I've also recognized a lot of Vietnamese fans coming all the way here to give us all the support. And I would like to give my thanks to all of you for that.
Well, thank you, fans. Thank you, Berlin. One more time for GAM, please. Koa, thank you so much for the translation. Kiaya, thank you for the interview. Congrats on making Swiss stage. And that's all for us here.
Thank you very much, Lauren. Congrats again to GAM Esports. What a run to make it to. No question they belong in that Swiss stage. 2-0, 2-0. Bam, bam. We're done. Just job's done.
Job's not done.
Well, job's
true. Yeah. Job started. You passed the interview stage.
You passed the interview. We're coming back for round 2.
You've made it to the internship.
Yeah. That might be a little disrespectful, but yeah. But the sentiment, I understand you.
It's a paid internship.
There's a lot more.
With benefits. With benefits. There's dental. Move on.
Regardless, well, there might be a lot more to be done. For now, I think we can celebrate what was an incredible series. One-sided, though, was, and you heard Macro, much better today, and also big shout out to Levi, right? Who was the factor that you heard behind the scenes calling the shots and making the Shyvana look good, even if some of us remain skeptical. And even in that game, Wukong, obviously a comfort pick for him, and you can see why. Super impactful.
But I think that's the beauty of watching GAM, is that, like, I think even watching them domestically, when you went into finals, a lot of people are like, Vikings is going to be favorites coming into this, but it was good macro, good target selection in team fights, the ability to just find these small windows to punish. And we got to see a very similar story here, where game 1 was not the bloodiest game in the world, but they were very good at operating around the map and making it very difficult for SM to play. And I feel like that has consistently been what GAM has been successful at, and we're going to get to see that once more now that they hit the main stage.
Yeah, and I kind of want to say as well, like, Kiaya, Levi, they've been performing incredible. But I also got to say that I think Emo has actually hiddenly just kind of power creeped himself up there to become way more stable than he was from regular season. I think actually his Yone today was pretty fantastic, and he did a great job at carrying his own weight and actually pushing above and beyond himself.
I mean, certainly, especially after Keine looked so solid on the LeBlanc yesterday in that final game. I wasn't certain how this was going to look. Jayce, 1K gold lead up individually. You feel like he's set up for success, but it never felt like he was 1,000 gold ahead. It never felt like he was really able to press that advantage. And every single fight, Yone looked like a massive threat in this series.
Yeah, and I think for Emo specifically, this is big because when we looked at him at MSI and we looked at him at Worlds, he wasn't always the biggest player to kind of step up and provide what was needed from the team. So the fact he is stepping up on this pick is absolutely fantastic, and being able to find these AD mids that still work for this team so you can bring out things like the AP Shyvana is just perfect for them.
Yeah, great series overall for GAM, of course. Focusing back on our first series of the day, because it has been quite a day in the series between MDK versus PSG. Alvaro was our Oppo player of the series. Incredible stuff from him. A lot of highlight moments from a lot of players today, but obviously Alvaro in that series really standing above and beyond.
I think it's been a while since we've really seen a 1v9 performance from a support. And I mean, shout out to Super as well. He did great on the Ziggs and later on Ezreal as well. But it was really the Alvaro show today. His Rell in game 1 has taken engages, found this perfect moment as well to really cancel out Mabel on the Akali. But it's just those things where he was clutch on the Alistar. He found the flash Q on the LeBlanc that's coming up right here as well. It's fantastic.
Yeah, good support will make the rest of the game so much easier for the team, and that's exactly what Alvaro did. Every single time you needed that big Ziggs ult, it was Alvaro who was setting them up with the big engage. Every time you saw, the LeBlanc was trying to put threat on them, Alvaro was the one to shut them down. It was him leading from the front. That's why we said at the start of the day, this is the man that when he is firing on all cylinders, he is such a big part of that engine for MDK, working with Elio, setting them up for success, and what an incredible way to get yourselves into the main stage.
Yeah, for sure, because we always knew he had level and potential, because we saw that in winter, right?
Yeah.
It's when summer or spring came around that we started having skepticism again, because the potential was there, but it wasn't followed through. And now you're finally starting to see the guy that was hyped up initially, that could potentially have been a rookie of the split had he kept this level of play the entire time. But, I mean, year's not done, and who cares what happened in the LEC when you're able to bring out Worlds performances like this in today's series.
And I think especially when it is on a world stage. Like, again, we come back to, these are a group of rookies. Now, confidence to kick out the door, but at the same time, these guys are incredibly new to this world stage. The fact that you're having these performances in high-pressure situation just fills me with a lot of confidence for them going forward.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, obviously, I think this is an easier transition into Worlds, given it's a studio that they've played in, but it's nice when a team that, I won't say that they love to yap, but they do think highly of themselves, right? And they're able to back that up on the stage. And of course, for both these lineups now, qualified for Swiss. And it's interesting, remember, the teams that are qualifying from plans are going to be facing first seeds from the big regions. And this is, while we, of course, have more to talk about in the context of plans, when we look ahead for both GAM and MDK, whatever they've shown here, the challenge tenfold more when we get to the Swiss stage.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But I think for MDK, right, still 4th rookies, they're even talking about, we just get the opportunity to play against some of our idols, people we've really looked up to and maybe based our play style a bit around too. So the fact that they already in their first year was laughed at quite heavily by the community. We've had a lot of letdowns with the Mad Lions brand. They've completely revamped that now and actually just gone above and beyond.
And when you look at a team like GAM, they're not unknown to cause an upset. You look at top esports at Worlds, they shut them down. These are a team that you can never discount. They will always put up their best fight, and you just never know what to expect. So I have no doubt that this is going to be a crazy interesting series the second GAM step onto the stage.
I will say, though, we were talking about this as well, just looking forward to the other games we had that we just saw in the bracket. That's going on tomorrow, of course.
If we can actually get the bracket up one more time, we were a bit more focused looking forward, and I do want to give audience the due diligence to kind of explain everything that is coming up here, Goldberg.
Yeah, because, I mean, I got a camera in my way, but...
Look at the bracket. So basically, we have two sides of the bracket. Of course, you have this lower bracket run. The winner of each side is going to play cross-group. So PSG today is actually going to play up against the 100 Thieves SHG side of the bracket. And that's a really big deal because for 100 Thieves, they started off with a difficult road knowing that they'd probably be playing PSG or Mad on the other side, but now it's just so much harder.
But 100 Thieves destroyed this bracket. Like, look at left side of the bracket going into right side of the bracket. I'm not saying there's a... Okay, I am saying
the right side of the bracket on paper is much harder. On one side, we have, and for me, this is huge potential for a lot of different teams,
It's
right?
just
Because
huge
you have
potential over
CB
here.
Law, LLA,
Exactly.
and VCS2. Any one of those teams making it to Swish stage is an incredible accomplishment.
But even like if you look at it, right, for like CB Law, the chance to kind of get in on the before you end up joining the Americas. Same when you look at R7, their opportunity to just show what they can do at that international stage again, representing just their region is incredible. But you look at VKE as well, like Vikings. That's 2 VCS teams that could be potentially getting through. What a moment for that region that you're like, we get to compete. All of
give
our...
us back our Swish
exactly,
slot. Give us back our slot, baby.
The thing is, right, that there's going to be APAC next year as well, right? So even for Vietnam, the fact that they suddenly can just get both of their seats through as well is a fantastic opportunity for them to just prove that, hey, our region, we've built ourselves up again. We've had a lot of issues, and that obviously hurt them, but the level of play, I mean, it's clear right now, just with GAM, it's still there.
Yeah, and of course tomorrow we'll get to see the Hawks versus 100 Thieves and Pain Gaming versus Viking Esports. We'll see how that shakes up and how that plays out. But for now, that's going to be it here for us at Worlds 2024 play-in stage. Just a couple days remaining. We'll find those final 2 teams before we can look ahead to Swiss. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
But the impale is massive from Elio, but it doesn't even matter. Nice. But Betty's too low to really go forward. Now the passes come, and he's back. Alvaro making good on the mistake from earlier.
Super. Well played.
Baro, why you play so much better here than in the scrims?
He's more fun, you know, I'm more enjoyable.
More fun, que hijo. I don't have jungle item.
Maple's on the side looking for more. They get the first reason, flash forward. It's a charm, it's a kill. Maple takes the game.
Can Vex land the ultimate onto Maple?
Oh, Maple the Q flash. He gets caught out and he gets feared up. Is he going to go down? No, not just yet. The ultimate comes through. Alvaro wins the massive play. It's the Q flash finding Maple.
I'm coming. Como te quiero, Javi.
Flashes in, still can't find anything. Levi's dead. EasyLove's in the middle of war and he's in trouble. The Braun Passive is there. Keine cleans up. Nice sidestep from Sayo, but it's first blood for Kiaya. And is it even more? It looks like it. It's a flash out from Lyonz, but Levi is there trying to take the down, and EasyLove comes in. 1, 2, 3, 4th shot. It's up to the bot lane here for R7, but the deadly flourish is deadly indeed. They will secure the win. They will secure their spot in the Swiss stage. This is what you want.